What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Ole here, and in today's video we got the Flywoo Mr. Croc frame. We're gonna build this frame today, see what comes in the box. I lost my drone, so I'm building a new one, and this is the first step to building a drone. Get a good frame. Now this frame is much better quality than the old frame I had. So here we have a battery pad. We got some nice thick arms. I'm not sure how thick they are, but these are way thicker than the arms I had on my last drone. So hopefully they don't break as easily, because I've had a broken arm before. What do we have here? Flywoo frame arm LEDs. Awesome, look at that. We get 4 little LEDs to put on your arms. That's pretty cool. We get a battery strap. These nice gold standoffs and the camera mount pieces, which is pretty cool. I like the goldish color. We get all these screws nicely packaged, and then we get the main frame pieces, and obviously the instructions, which I will probably be using today, since I have never built this frame before. So let's start building it. Alright, so here in the manual we can actually see that the arms are 5 millimeters in thickness. So that's the answer right there. I believe the frame I had before, which I had, not the original, I had a clone of the Nova 235 frame, which I like that frame a lot, but since I broke one and then I got a replacement of the same frame and then I lost that drone, I decided to try out a new frame. And I really like this frame for one big reason, which you can mount a 30 by 30 or 20 by 20 flight controller, ESCs, 4-in-1 ESC or whatever, in 3 different locations. So it gives you a lot of room to build, and that was pretty much the selling point for me. So let's get some of this out of the way and start building it. Alright, so I got all the frame pieces out of the bags here, and the next thing I want to show you guys is that you can actually configure this frame different ways. Here you can see you can have a dead cat configuration, a true X, a hybrid, or a stretched X configuration. I'm gonna go with the true X configuration, so just pay attention to what screws go into what holes, that way you don't mess it up. Alright, so I am gonna be using the manual to help me out here. As I said, I've never built this frame before. So it looks like we're gonna be using the M3 16mm screws, 4 of them, and then the M3 10mm screws, 8 of those for the arm assembly and this bottom plate. So let's go ahead and get our screws in, at least. So we're gonna go all the way on the outside. We're gonna put the 10mm screws. Then we're gonna put the longer ones in here. And depending on what configuration you chose, obviously you're gonna have a little bit of a different layout than me, so you might not be following me step for step here. All right, oh, almost had it. One screw came out. Okay, so we got all our screws in. Now, one thing I don't like about the frame is that they have these little 5s printed on the frame, which is either for 5mm thickness of the arm itself or 5-inch frame. I'm not sure, but it is gonna show on 2 of the arms, so that's kind of a little downside. But the cool thing is that all 4 of these arms are exactly the same, and they do sell them separately. That way, if you do have a crash and break one of the arms, you go ahead and buy yourself a spare and quickly have a replacement. Alright, so let's go ahead and line these up, put your arms on. There we go. And they're just gonna come together in the middle and kind of support each other. Here's the third arm. Okay. Yeah, and as you can see, these two are gonna have the 5 showing, but it's gonna get covered with the motor wires anyways. All right, so once you get all those arms on, we take this piece right here and we have to place it in. But first of all, it looks like we have to put these press nuts onto the frame. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. So one thing I noticed with these press nuts is if you can see on one side of the frame, it's just flat, and on the other side we have these little grooves. So we're gonna put the press nuts into those grooves, I believe. That way they can sit in there better and it'll be a little better for support, I guess. So go ahead and get those in. All right, once you get all the press nuts in, let's line up the frame here, and I'm gonna try to flip this without having any screws fall out. Oh, that didn't work out. All right, so let's do this. Let's line up the frame here, like so. Okay, there we go. We got most of these screws in. And now just flip it over and screw in the outside first. That way you can at least get the frame to catch some thread onto the press nuts when you're screwing in, and it will kind of hold a little better. Now here, my press nut's not in all the way, so I'm actually not tightening onto it. There we go. That's better. And then this is the last outside one. All right. Next, let's do the innermost 4, and I believe that's all for the press nuts. The middle 4 longer screws do not get press nuts. That's gonna be where you're gonna want to put your standoffs for. I mean, that's pretty much where you're gonna mount your flight controller or ESCs, whatever you plan to mount in the middle of the frame. All right, there we go. Everything's tightened. So we're pretty much done with the frame almost. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all of our nice gold standoffs here, and we're gonna take these M3 6mm screws and go ahead and screw in all the standoffs. So I was wrong before. These longer screws are actually used to put on standoffs also, which is kind of a little odd to me, I guess, but I put them on in the wrong spots earlier. I had to like line up the top plate just to see where the standoffs are located. As you can see, if you just go ahead and line this up, you could see that it's going to be here. I put mine here, so that's wrong. So get those longer screws through and put on the 4 innermost standoffs. There we go. All right, that's done. Make sure they're all tight. Next, I'm going to take the top plate, put it on, and go ahead and get some screws in there. All right, there we go. I'm not gonna put all the screws in there, but that's it pretty much. The build is done. Well, actually we missed these. So these are for the camera. So the build is not done. This is where you're gonna put your camera, and it's got a few holes, that way you can mount it at different angles. It should be enough to put it to a really high angle depending on how you fly, or a super low angle. And I believe on this frame it will actually allow you to go to like 0 degrees. Alright, so we're gonna put this on like so, right here and right there, like that. Whoa, this fell over. And then you're gonna try and match those up here. There we go. All right. Just make sure that it sits in the holes properly, because if it doesn't, you won't be able to screw in at the top here. All right, so there we go. It sits in these 4 little holes nicely. And now we are done. Put on a few screws at the top to tighten up the top plate. And that's the Mr. Croc frame, guys. So pretty cool frame. You can, as you can see, if I can take this off real quick, you can mount a 20 by 20 or 30 by 30 here, and in the back. So that's a big reason why I got it. I'm gonna go ahead and most likely put my 4-in-1 ESC here. Haven't decided if I'm gonna put the flight controller on top of the ESC or up here in the front. And then VTX I'm gonna mount all the way in the back here. But pretty nice frame. I like that there's a lot of room for the build, and I really like the gold color. So once I get all my parts in, I'm gonna build this and I'll make another video of it. If you guys haven't seen my previous builds, I'll link the video in the description. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.